Okay, so you love your 2003 through 2005, 2007 Mercedes. Kept it in pristine condition, looks great, drives great. But the one sore spot is your radio is out of date. You know, you got a choice of 6 or 7 CDs to play, and that's it. Your phone system, you can't stream from your phone your MP3s into the unit. The only thing the unit will do is give you your phone book and your history. Won't even give you text messages. So what do? Your choice is to rip this thing out, get a replacement unit in there. But this unit is fiber optic, so it isn't wires running to the power amp or anything. It's fiber optic, and the fiber optic's linked into other systems. So if you replace the head unit, you have to rewire the whole car just about. You got to put in a new power amplifier. But that would give you the ability to link your modern phone, stream. It'll have USB ports, all that jazz. But you do have another option that isn't going to cost you anything, and it will allow you to have up to over 8 gigs of MP3's stored in your car. Look at all these folders of my CD, my MP3 collection, as well as, and that's in this drive up here, as well as I can store more MP3s in the drive down here. And we do that with an update CD. And down below I'm going to have a link to the latest update that I used. I think that's the final one, and that will give you the opportunity to play MP3s in your stereo. Also, there's going to be a link to the previous version, which will do the same thing. But what that version has is more detailed instructions on how to burn the CD, as well as explaining some of the upgrades that the software update gives you. So let me review with you after what it is basically you're going to have your just in the first position, and then you're going to hit 3 buttons over here. It's going to go into programming mode. You'll stick the disk in there. Make sure you've already removed any disks that's in the drive to begin with. So you put it into this disk drive here. It'll update, and while it's doing that, just sit in your car. I don't open the doors or anything. Just touch nothing. When it's done, it'll reboot. At that point, you eject the disk that's in there. Otherwise, you'll just get a CD error. And then you're done. Then you'll be able to put in, play MP3s in the system. Most of you, if not all of you, up to 2005. I don't know about after the 2006 models, etc. I think because they even added a USB port over there or something. I do not have that. They may have changed this. This is a DVD drive. It's not a CD drive. And the reason for that is my navigation's back in the trunk. In 2003 or so, or I don't know, maybe it was just an option for this model to have the navigation in the trunk. But other models, that's not in there. You put the navigation DVD up in here. So that's a DVD drive, not a CD drive. Down here, that's CD drives down there. So being a DVD drive, this will allow you to store up to over 8 gigs of MP3s on this one disc alone. And that's more than sufficient. Just pick out your favorite stuff that you like listening to and load it up. I mean, I got folder after folder in this on a dual layer DVD. Now, if you get single layer DVD, you're talking 4 gigs of information. Dual layer is going to give you the 8 gigs, and this will handle the dual layer DVDs. But what you're going to need is like a computer with a DVD drive, and most all of them nowadays will handle dual layer DVDs, if not Blu-ray discs. So you should be good there. So buy some blank dual layer DVD discs and load it up with folders full of your favorite music and put it in there. But you can also put MP3s on discs here. Only thing you lose is, and I will show you, I'll go to CD changer, and let me back up to, that's disc number 1. Now disc number 1 in here is an MP3 disc. You don't get to display folders. So what winds up happening is, if you want to go to a particular album or a particular song, you got to skip through all of those songs. It also takes a little bit of time, because right now it's loading all the data from the disc. So it's loading all the list of MP3s. You have a regular CD, music CD in there. What do you have? A handful of songs. It takes a second for it to load that information. But now it has to load all the information for all those MP3s I have on this disc. So the music will start playing, but it's still loading the data, and that's when you will get this showing up. And if you notice, you only have your choice for magazine. You don't have your choice for any folders. So if I want to get to a different Led Zeppelin album, so now I'm on to the next album there. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 is next album. So that's a little cumbersome, but it's not a deal killer. And of course, if you hit the left and right button, you're not going to skip folders. You're going to skip to the next disk. Now, one way to tell which software version you're working on is hit the service button, and if you just have an E-Class over here, then you're running with the old software. If you have an E-Class and I think it's a CLS on the other side, then you have the updated version. Don't know if that's the same for both versions I have listed below, but that'll give you an idea. Okay, so that's about it. Only other thing is, you will read in the actual Mercedes bulletin that there is specific firmware update that you should be beyond on the head unit to use the software. Now, my car was not beyond that firmware, I'm sure. It worked just fine, but I did notice a little bit, the sound wasn't quite as good as I thought it should be. And then when I was at the Mercedes dealership, had to get something done, I had them flash the memory. I think it cost me about 400 some bucks. It was a lot. So but they did the update. I handed them a copy of that bulletin, and they ran the update. And to me, I feel that the sound was better. I think it was they changed the crossover frequencies or something. But to me, the stereo did sound better. So just so you know, that's optional. It worked perfectly fine for me without doing the update. But then when I had the update done, I thought it just sounded better. So I'll call that optional, not mandatory. One other thing, if you're using MP3's in this disc, if you're into voice control, which I added that feature in, I really don't use it. It just goes to application. It will not ask you. You cannot change folders. You cannot pick songs. It just won't do anything in that mode. And when you're in your CD changer, really the only thing that'll work is changing CDs. I had showed you that all the folders just it just reads all the songs in a row. regardless of the folder, or per folder. So if you're in a folder that has a specific album and you say play track 3, it'll go to track 3 within whichever folder you're active in at the time. But like I said, I don't use that feature too much. Also, if you change the head unit, then what happens to your controls up here and your readout up there? Really, you're opening up a can of worms, and for a 15-year-old, 16, 17-year-old car, you're investing a lot of money and a lot of work. Whereas this is free, and really, I've been thrilled. I mean, just everything, 8.5 gigs is more than enough. I really don't even go into my changer at all because everything is right up there. So if you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks.